Ring IQ TV, proudly joined by the legendary Cutman, Jacob Stitch Duran, all the way in Las Vegas, which is, I believe, now 8 hours behind the UK. Stitch, how you doing?
Doing good, man. This is like my third interview today. It's been a crazy week, to say the least. So thanks for having me on, Harish.
No problem. Thank you for joining us and
Sure.
giving your time to us as well. So obviously it's the aftermath of a massive event, and you're still busy doing a lot of media work. What did you make of the event? Obviously you were the cut man for Mike Tyson on Friday night.
Oh, the event was spectacular. From everything from the training aspect to the marketing aspect to the event and all that was pretty magical, man. It's never going to happen again. And me just to take pride in. I've been in a lot of great events, a lot of great fights, and a lot of great movies, but never had the chance to work with Mike Tyson, man. So that was an honor in itself.
Absolutely. Seems like a crazy experience. Before you got the call, or actually straight after you got the call, what did you think of obviously Mike Tyson at the age of 58 coming back to box again? I mean, was you all for it or against it?
Oh yeah, no, I was guessed. Yeah, I mean, for it, Mike's 58 years old, and I see Mike around and all that, and he's Mike Tyson. If it was anybody else, you would probably say he was crazy, but Mike's as crazy as a fox, man. But no, I was glad to see him perform as a 58-year-old man that's had such a credible career. It just shows you the heart of the lion more than anything else.
Absolutely. And obviously during training camp, and all the socials that came out, all the highlight reels of Mike training, um, it seems like he didn't bring that energy to the actual fight. I mean, he looked so sharp in training.
Yeah, that's a lot of the fans are coming up with this kind of comments and all that, and yeah, and I think they expected the Mike Tyson when he was in his young 30s and all that, but yeah, you can beat anything, Adish, but it's tough to beat time, and for him to have the heart and the soul to go out there and replenish himself one more time, win or lose, I thought it was a victory for Mike Tyson.
Absolutely. I mean, he got paid a lot of money, so it was a win-win for him. And surprisingly, neither fighter got stopped. Do you think they were holding back?
No, I don't think so. I think, the style of fighting was, is for them to be barn burners, right? And I think it was a little bit more calculated. I think, Mike, of course, being a little bit older against a young guy that's bigger and all that, then, he went hard at first and then after that started slowing down and using a little bit of technique. But I think, same with Jake Paul. I think, he didn't want to commit himself fully because there's always that Mike Tyson punch, So it was yeah, it was I think people were, kind of booing it in the audience and all that, but I think overall, as you look at the whole picture, it wasn't a bad event.
Absolutely. And what were the talks? I mean, in the corner, the instructions given to Mike at the start, and then obviously during the middle rounds, and then obviously the late rounds as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rafael did a good job. Billy White, the other guy, the two guys, then Billy White's been with Mike Tyson since the days of Cus Morado. Anyway, and then Rafael Cordero, a great UFC fighter or trainer, they were giving him the proper instructions. You got to get a little bit more busier, go on with your jab and, throw punches and bunches and, the old basic techniques that you would wind Mike Tyson up with and then set him up for the next round.
During the fight, I mean, Mike Tyson was, it seemed to be biting on his gloves. Um, since I've been watching him, obviously he's a lot older than me. Um, I don't remember him doing it that much, if at all. Um, but the commentators did say that he normally does that. Do you think he was just frustrated he couldn't land on Jake Paul and he's taking it out on his glove?
Well, Mike does that. I remember seeing a pair of gloves that he had, and they were kind of bitten right around here. And so that's a habit Mike Tyson has, and that's one that he brought with him. So I think that was just part of his nature of that's the way he fights.
Well, it's better, obviously, biting the glove than Jake Paul.
Yeah, to giving him a headbutt or getting a headbutt. Yeah,
I
or biting
mean,
Jake Paul. I just got that second one. Yeah, biting Jake Paul. Got it. All right.
where do you see Mike going? I mean, after the fight, he did call out Logan, which I thought Logan would have taken it with a bit of a pinch of salt, but he didn't.
I didn't hear that. After the fights, went to the dressing room and I'm putting all my stuff away, and Mike's getting dressed, and right, all these people are around him in the dressing rooms, and uh, he gets to go, into the press conference after that. But in the ring, I didn't, I didn't hear the interviews. I didn't pay attention, so I didn't know that he tried to call out Logan Paul or Logan Paul tried to call out Jake Paul. But either way, that's what the Paul brothers, Jake and Logan, have created, is this type of marketing presentation. I worked with KSI when he fought Logan Paul, and I didn't know who these guys were, and I didn't know they all had over 20 million followers, right? And but I understand that that's a whole group of different type of fans. As a matter of fact, one of the photographers I work with, D, I do a lot of the Top Rank shows, and he's a cameraman for them. Well, he was there for Shushu, and he's telling me I'm flying back home to Las Vegas that he was in the audience 4 rows back. He said, but there was nothing but kids. All these kids are right there, and those seats weren't cheap. From what I understand, ringside was starting like at 25,000 or something like that. So you kind of wonder what kind of people are watching the fights and their opinion of it. So it's a little bit different, but I understand because when I did KSI, I worked with him. We got to the arena, put our stuff away, and then the coaches always go to ringside to look at the ring and the mat and the steps and all that. And nobody recognized me. They all recognized the trainers for KSI. So it's a different world, bro.
Absolutely. Obviously, it brings, like you said, it brings a lot of different eyes to the sport, and they smashed. I mean, some of the numbers on Friday. Do you think that could have been done with anyone else if it weren't Mike Tyson?
No, not at all. Not at all. The matchup was great. Uh, we were in the dressing rooms. The guy from Netflix was there, and there was very, very few people because Mike ran everybody out. But I think during the Serrano Katie Taylor fight, there was 40 in the beginning, like 40 million that tuned in, and by the end of their fight, there was like 50. But then, as we were going out, he's saying that as at the end that there were 60 million Netflix subscribers that tuned in. And as you look at that, 60 million, but how many people in each household watch the same fight? So yeah, it smashed records, and I don't think you'll be able to accomplish that again, Hadis.
Absolutely. Absolutely crazy. Phenomenal numbers. And I think I believe it was Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. I'm pretty sure it done 9 million or something like that. I can't actually remember now from the top of my head, but it blitzed their numbers. Um, you've seen obviously a lot of fighters during your career. Where do you think Jake Paul ranks as a professional fighter? I mean, do you think he's good enough to fight active fighters, professional fighters right now in his career?
Bless his heart. Like I say, I worked against him and Logan Paul, but when I first met him at the young age, I'm talking to them, and they're both wrestlers, high-end wrestlers. And when I had my school of kickboxing, I had these wrestlers that came into the school became good kickboxers because they have that discipline, they have that conditioning, they have the take the pain situation. But at this stage right now, he's a good B fighter. Somebody asked me earlier in one of the earlier interviews if he's ready for Canelo. I said no, two different levels. You got an A plus fighter with a B plus fighter, maybe a B fighter. And so no, but you know what? I don't think he's in there, to prove that he's the best with the best. I think he's there to market himself and market the sport, and you know try to give something back to the fans and to the fighters. So it's a win-win situation for us.
If he actually obviously took his boxing career seriously, do you reckon it would be able to win? Well, here in the UK, we have like an area title or an English title. What kind of title, or if any at all, do you think he'd be able to win a title in America?
It's a good question. I think he would be there for the challenge. Taking nothing away from Jake Paul, he has everything it takes in such a short period of time. People have to realize he hasn't been doing this for the longest time. I think what's he got, it's 11 fights or something like that. So you got to give him a lot of props for making that transition in a sport that he's never been involved with and accomplishing it. So I mean, he's fought some good guys over beyond their prime careers and all that, but it's all part of the marketing strategy.
Absolutely. And one of my last questions to you, after the fight, in back in the changing rooms, did Mike have any words amongst his team, what he could have done better, what he should have done? Were there any regrets?
No, you know what? I think he was a little disappointed, no doubt about it. Anybody would, just the heart of the gladiator. But nah, he accepted the loss and like I say, he was dressed and very quiet and but went straight to the press conference and I didn't go. We didn't go to the press conference. The team, at least the main team. So I don't know what he said. I don't know what Jake said. But I knew it was quite a successful night. I'm still answering messages and doing interviews and everything pertaining to that whole event. So props to Jake Paul, man. I mean, I gotta give him MVP promotions, top of the line credit, man, because they accomplished what a lot of people have never even come close to do.
Absolutely. And one last question. Obviously, before leading up to the fight in the changing rooms, I believe Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield came into the dressing room. What kind of advice? I mean, you must have been there at the time. What kind of advice did they both give Mike?
Yeah, I had the opportunity of saying hi to Lennox Lewis. It was kind of nice, but no, he was just giving support and all that, and they were proud for him. But it's not like Mike, keep your hands up, and Mike's way beyond that. So it's more of just friends encouraging the others and complimenting them, and that's the way it was. And Lennox Lewis, it was nice. I've been with Vitaly Klitschko, and just we've been in the same circuit, so it was nice to say hi to him.
Absolutely. Stitch, is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off about
No,
the
I think
event, about your future plans?
well, yeah. Well, let me tell you what's going on right now. Then, yeah, it was yesterday. I got home Saturday, Sunday. Yesterday, I just did about 4 hours of filming on. They're filming a documentary of my life called "From the Fields to the Garden," and this was my final interview. But we got Tyson Fury's in it. I got Michael B. Jordan in it. So a whole bunch of people that I worked with in the past, because I grew up as a farm worker. So those are the book. It's called "From the Fields to the Garden." So the fields were that I grew up as a farm worker, and the garden was my goal to make it to Madison Square Garden, New York, and been there now many times. So Michael B. Jordan and the Creed people are going to help it present it to Amazon. But I have people, man, from that have direct contact with Netflix and all these other networks. So we should be done by the end of March. So touch base with me before that, Harish, and I'll give you an update.
Absolutely. That's incredible. And you truly deserve it. The recognition for your great work that you've put in with fighters and in the boxing industry. What was your most challenging? I've got a few questions actually now.
Yeah, no, I got time, man. Don't worry about it.
It's led me onto a few more now. What's been your most challenging fight or yeah, fighter that you had to work with in the corner to really
There's been hundreds of them, but I'll put one in relationship to the UK, and that was Vladimir Klitschko when he fought Anthony Joshua, Wembley Stadium. If you remember that, ninety
yeah,
thousand fans, and Vladimir was the world champion, and he's coming in, and I didn't see him and Vitaly until Friday at the weigh-ins because my daughter Carla had got married in Crete, and I got in Thursday night to London, and so in the dressing room we're before the weigh-ins, I'm talking to Vladimir and Vitaly, and finally I put my hand on Vladimir. I said, "Look, don't worry about nothing tomorrow. I take care of you like you're my son." And I leave because I know the nighttime these guys, they can't sleep. They're getting ready for a big fight. Well, here I am before all these 90,000 fans, and right before Michael Buffer's doing the announcing, I'm putting the final Vaseline on him, and we're just this far apart, and he says, "You can call me son." So,
well,
man, it gave me chills because I knew I got into his head. And to this day, he tells me it's one of the best fights he's ever had. And but the last time I saw Vladimir, and unfortunately, they're fighting the Russians right now. And but I saw him in Germany like 3 months later, and very softly I said, Vladimir, that one moment, why? He says, Stitch, there's very few people I trust in my life. You were one of them. I got tons of stories, man. One of these days when I go to the UK, we'll sit down and yeah, tell you all the stories I have.
Absolutely. And Stitch, obviously you've been in the game for so long. Um, there's not many people you can trust in boxing, right? Or,
Yeah,
or
it's
get
you know,
along
it's
with. But obviously Vlad seems like one of them. Obviously one of
oh,
them you can keep
Vlad and
close.
Vitaly were out of all the people I work with throughout the world, and I work with the best of the best of the best. Vladimir and Vitaly fall on top of my list because of the characters they were and the respect, not only to me, but to the fans around them and everybody else around them. And, they were big, big names, but they always had that time to give you their time. And, for me watching that it was heartfelt and they're good, good people, man. So they fall on the top of my list for sure. In MMA,
Absolutely.
in MMA was Josh Barnett in the old days. We used to go to Japan for Pride. He was like the Klitschko, very giving, just a good, good man.
Absolutely. And when are you coming down to the UK next? Any plans?
Now you're the second guy to ask today. No, but things always happen. And I got a message from I haven't read it all, but this one guy that he goes, I'm gonna see if I could get you to help me in the corner over here. Because I was doing another interview, trying to get a chance to see who it was. But hopefully one of these days I'll be back in the UK.
Absolutely. It'll be good to see you, good to catch
Thank you.
up, and obviously good to hear some more stories as well.
Yeah, I got stories, that's for sure.
But
So
that's cool. Stitch, thank you for taking the time out once again. I really appreciate it. Obviously, especially after a busy weekend when people are probably nagging you as well. But I mean, I sent you one text and you got straight back to me.
yeah, that's my nature, man. How do you set something I never want to change. You said legend, and people call me legend, and they ask me. I said, to me, it's embarrassing, because I'm just a simple guy that's been blessed to work with the best, and to have stories to share. But all these accolades and all that's fine and dandy. I appreciate it, and I know I've earned them, but that's not my nature. My change and communication for me is number one. Number one and two. Ironing my clothes is number one. but communications, and you did a good job on that. But no, it's always to give back because these little things that don't mean too much for us mean so much for somebody else. The guys that
Absolutely.
come up to me and, hey, do you mind taking the pictures? And I said, no. I said it's when people don't ask me that I should really be concerned. So I'm enjoying the ride, and next year's going to be a great year with my documentary. I got a cannabis line coming out, and working with a cream for the healing process of cuts, and working with so many great fighters. So my legacy continues, bro.
Absolutely. I just want to touch. Sorry,
No, no, it's all right.
It seems like the interview is going to end, but you keep opening up other doors. I just want to touch on. Obviously, we're talking about. You've just mentioned legacy. Um, Mike Tyson was asked about legacy, and he answered it in a way you didn't really expect. Did you hear the interview or
No.
or the question? No. He said he doesn't really care about legacy. One day we're going to go from here. He doesn't really care about how people speak of him after. But yeah, I mean, if you didn't hear it, then obviously you probably can't answer it. Well,
Yeah.
or give your thoughts.
Oh well, Mike is a horse of a different color. I about 25 years ago, I interviewed him, and he was quoting Nietzsche. So you name a boxer that quotes Nietzsche, maybe outside of Lennox Lewis, and but yeah, he's out there quoting Nietzsche. So he's a horse of a different color, and I understand where Mike's coming from because he says, once you're dead, everybody's going to forget you, but not
Mm,
everybody's going to forget Mike Tyson, and like Muhammad Ali. Those are names that are going to be locked into the life of combat sports forever. And like I say, Hadis, for me to have worked with Mike on this fight, it'll never be duplicated. And people have been asking about my outfit. I said, now I normally I give stuff away, sweats and all that. But not so now. This one I'm keeping because it's very, very special.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stitch, thank you for talking about obviously the event, the one of the biggest events in history. Thank you for giving us your time, and I promise this time it is the end of the interview.
Well, we both learned, right? So anytime, but no, it's not one of the biggest events, bro. It is the biggest event. You
Yeah.
know, you just everybody know that many people had Netflix accounts. But Mike Tyson and Jake Paul did that. They created that drama to the point where all these non-boxing fans were expecting Mike Tyson to knock him out, and you got to look at the longevity of somebody, and the old saying is you can beat anything, but you can't beat time. And then you got
Mm,
the scenario of the young lion versus the old lion, right? So in that one, they both won.
100% winners at the
Yeah,
end of the day. Both winners. Whoever was part of the event, they all win.
yeah.
But
So,
I look forward to speaking to you again. Obviously, we'll catch up um, with an update about your documentary
all right.
before obviously that comes out. But
Yeah.
all the best and take care of yourself, Stitch.
Same with you, my man. Take care and stay nice and warm out there.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Thank you.